Oh, life in the suburbs, it's so grand. Here on a nice big lot under tall shade trees in front of a farmhouse built in 1856. This is quintessential suburban living, but I'm actually in the city. I'm in the neighborhood Old Irving Park in a section that was once a suburb called Grayland. Prior to that was the farm of John and Phoebe Gray. They subdivided into a suburb, so the house is now surrounded by bungalows, smaller farmhouses, apartment buildings, but here still has its 1856 quality. That character is especially visible here on this great big front porch, an embracing porch that surrounds three sides of the house. And there are two more porches. There's one you might call a breakfast porch off the breakfast room, and then there's a great big back porch at the back of the house. It might have been for carriages to pull up to a stable. There's now a large garage there with storage space above. You've got room for all this because you're on 5.5 city lots. So sitting here on your porch, you're looking out on an enormous piece of ground. You would also have that view from inside because the house, done in an Italianate style, has very tall windows for taking in those views. The scale is very large inside. You have not only the tall windows, very high ceilings, big, beautiful crown moldings and base moldings still intact. The three front formal rooms all have original fireplaces still in working condition. Lots of other great vintage details or new details brought in that complement them. And then behind those three formal rooms is a great eat-in kitchen and a den. The kitchen has been done new relatively recently, but it was done in a way so that it at least pays homage to the origins of the house. Now there's one room you're not going to see, and that is, legend has it, an Underground Railroad room that was right here, a hiding room that was underneath the porch. The house is believed to have been a part of the Underground Railroad. The train station, named Grayland for the suburb, is just about 2 blocks away, and history says there was a room hidden below the porch right here. The historical details continue here to the second floor, where you've got, for example, this great woodwork from the staircase, and it delivers you to a nice space that works for a family. You've got a great open space here that probably was a library, a sitting room, now works really well as a playroom, and in fact the whole hall does. Because of the vintage of the house, the hall is really wide, and you can imagine small children can play in here like crazy. The house really works for a family, and not only because of the baby gates. Here on the second floor you've got 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. The older bedrooms have great old transoms above the doors for airflow, and then there's a modern take on a transom here in this room that was added, a bedroom that has this great modern version of a transom. Something else you're going to want these days for a family, second floor laundry. House built in 1856, certainly didn't have that. And there's also a mini kitchen. You've got a bunch of kids, it's late at night, snacks and everything else could be right here. Then you get to the master bedroom, which also has a vintage feeling. It's got a turret filled with great big windows. It's got a skylight. Really feels like a wonderful old space, but some terrific updates. The master bath has been built out, expanded. You've got a soaking tub with a waterfall spout that comes from the ceiling. Nice glass box shower, so that it feels like a very modern space. Here above it all is the cupola. It's a prominent tower that the neighborhood can all see, and legend says that residents of the house gathered here on the 3rd floor to watch the Great Chicago Fire because there was nothing else as tall, at least on all the farmland surrounding. A cupola like this is typical to a house of that vintage of 1856, but it's also a very modern device. It was built for a very particular reason. You could slide open the windows up here, and in the summer that would pull hot air up and through the house, creating a breeze, creating ventilation when you didn't have air conditioning. The house is air conditioned, of course, but now you can still use this device, sliding open these windows. It's something that green architects are building on new houses all the time.